The Arctic is a place where hesitation means falling behind, and the polar bear is built to hold the advantage. Its massive body moves across the ice and snow, steadily narrowing every possible escape. Each close approach blends strength, endurance, and a remarkably precise hunting instinct. Even other predators tend to reconsider their distance when it appears. What allows the polar bear to maintain its commanding presence in this unforgiving frozen world? The polar bear is the largest bear species on the planet. An adult male often weighs around 1,400 pounds and can reach about 8 feet in length. Its coat is made of nearly transparent hairs that cover dark skin, helping the body absorb and retain heat more effectively. The bright white appearance also provides natural camouflage across snow and sea ice. Wide, fur-covered paws help maintain steady traction on slippery surfaces. Within the Arctic marine ecosystem, the polar bear stands as the top predator and reflects the overall condition of a rapidly changing frozen environment. The Arctic is not a realm that allows mistakes. Across this vast white wilderness, the ringed seal, an animal weighing only about 150 pounds, forms the most critical calorie link, making up nearly 70% of the diet of the region's top predator. To survive, the seal has developed a clever system of snow bunkers, hiding beneath thick layers of snow while maintaining secret breathing holes through the hard sea ice. It surfaces for only a few brief seconds to draw air, and in that moment, the line between safety and danger becomes remarkably thin. Above the compressed ice, the polar bear appears like a silent figure of patience. It does not waste energy on long, uncertain chases. Instead, the giant operates like a quiet strategist, capable of remaining still for hours beside a breathing hole in temperatures near -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Each broad step spreads its weight across the ice, allowing it to approach without sending even the faintest vibration through the frozen surface. When the water finally stirs, the moment unfolds in a single powerful motion. A well-timed strike can provide the precious energy needed to sustain the predator for several more days. Yet, on this frozen battleground, success is never guaranteed. Many of these silent ambushes end with nothing more than the wind moving across the ice. In the harsh, high Arctic, desperation can push predators into extreme gambles. When seals grow scarce, an exhausted mother bear, carrying the responsibility of her cubs, makes one of the most daring decisions, approaching a massive herd of walruses. Each adult here can weigh around 3,000 pounds and carries tusks reaching about 3 feet in length, giving them the presence of a fortress that is extremely difficult to challenge. As the walruses gather along the sandy shore to rest, The mother bear quietly moves along the edge of the formation, reading every movement while waiting for the moment when the herd's order begins to loosen. When the walruses startle and press towards the water, the bear increases the pressure, turning the sudden confusion into a chance to separate a younger or slower individual from the moving mass. At this moment, flexibility and awareness become the only keys that may open a narrow path to survival. If successful, the energy gained can be substantial, enough to sustain the bear for many days. However, the risk remains extreme. If the walruses reach the water in time, the balance quickly shifts. In this frozen world, such encounters are not simply acts of aggression, but a harsh calculation between risk and reward, where adaptation determines which life will still see the Arctic sunrise tomorrow. In the Arctic, nature does not operate through mercy, but through a harsh calculation of calories. As sea ice, the very foundation of survival, gradually disappears, the boundaries between individual polar bears become more fragile and more dangerous than ever before. An adult male weighing up to 1,400 pounds stands like a living fortress against the white snow. Even its quiet presence alone can impose control over a food source or a critical travel corridor. When tension rises, it does not rush into a reckless clash. Instead, it lifts its head, tightens the powerful muscles across its shoulders, and releases deep, resonant calls, a ritual used to measure the confidence of the opponent. If neither side yields, the two giants may enter a heavy test of strength, where powerful swipes help establish a new order of dominance. The tension reaches another level when a mother bear appears with her cubs. In the world of top predators, a hungry adult male can pose a serious danger to young bears. At this moment, the encounter is no longer about food, but about the most fundamental instinct of survival. The mother bear, though smaller, must turn vigilance into her greatest advantage, using mobility and swift defensive reactions to offset the difference in size. Each encounter becomes a cold measure of energy and the right to pass life forward. It is not meaningless chaos, but a harsh rhythm that keeps the lifeblood of this frozen kingdom from fading away. As the Arctic summer gradually draws to a close, the tide pulls back and reveals narrow bottlenecks near river mouths. There, groups of beluga whales must pass through shallow channels to feed, shed their skin, and care for their young, causing the vast ocean to suddenly narrow for a brief moment. From a high rocky ledge, a polar bear watches in silence. It does not rush into the water without purpose, but waits for the precise moment when the beluga formation becomes crowded near the shallows or a narrow passage. Yet the whales, guided by their remarkable echolocation, can often slip away in an instant. Unwilling to give up, the predator moves several miles farther to set up a new watch point at the tightest gap in the ice. When a beluga surfaces for air in a vulnerable position, the bear responds with a swift movement, seizing the rare opportunity. At the edge of the world, advantage does not always belong to the fastest, but to the one who understands when to wait. As the tide closes again, another cycle of life quietly continues across the white Arctic landscape. A herd of caribou appears like a ribbon in constant motion. These resilient travelers carry hooves nearly 4 inches wide, functioning like natural snowshoes that help them stay steady on soft ground. Yet those very tracks can unintentionally form a pathway for a quiet predator: the polar bear. The bear's strategy follows the strict math of survival. Isolate the vulnerable. It waits patiently for individuals that fall behind because of injury, fatigue, or youth. Along deep snowy slopes, where the stride of a caribou becomes slower and more difficult, the polar bear releases a burst of power to close the distance with remarkable precision. With a full-grown caribou, the bear may drive the animal toward icy water. There, the balance can quickly shift. In the freezing current, the bear becomes a powerful and flexible swimmer, supported by strong lungs and its great body mass. When the predator finally pulls its prize onto the rocky shore, the moment marks not only the end of a long migration, but also a quiet reminder of the intelligence and adaptability of the Arctic's top hunter. Amid the chaotic chorus of tens of thousands of seabirds, a massive white figure quietly traces its path of survival along a towering cliff. No longer relying on swift strikes beneath icy water, the polar bear is now forced to become a careful climber more than 200 feet above sea level. Along narrow ledges where even a small misstep could bring serious danger, the giant slowly places its wide paws while approaching nests resting close to the edge. Each egg holds only about 300 calories, an amount that seems remarkably small compared with the tens of thousands of calories this large body requires each day. Yet as the familiar sea ice disappears, the once dominant hunter must accept the trade-off, gathering even the smallest sources of protein it can find. Here, survival is no longer about the pride of a ruler, but about patience, like a traveler enduring the bare rock until the Arctic winter returns. An explosive opening moment, a surge of speed slicing through the icy water. Without display or hesitation, the orca drives straight into the encounter, and the ocean seems to fall silent. They spread into formation, cut precise angles, seal off escape routes, and guide the target toward a predetermined point. Every movement carries purpose. Every strike lands with chilling accuracy. Within that vast blue world, who possesses the resolve to challenge the one that holds command? Orcas are present across most of the world's oceans, from waters as cold as 32 degrees Fahrenheit to more temperate regions. They live in tightly bonded family groups, connected through distinct acoustic languages unique to each pod. They operate through coordination and memory, turning the vast ocean into a strategic map shared by the entire group. And when prey shifts with the seasons, the orcas adjust their routes as well, maintaining balance within the rhythm of the sea. Within polar ecosystems, seals are more than just marine mammals. They are mobile reserves of energy, rich with valuable blubber. With an average weight of about 600 pounds, a single seal provides an immense number of calories, making it worth the most advanced strategies on the planet. This dense source of nutrition has made seals a primary target, accounting for more than 60% of the diet of orcapods that specialize in hunting marine mammals. When a target is spotted resting on drifting ice, the pod does not rush in recklessly. Instead, they execute a technique known as wave washing. Lining up side by side, they strike the water in unison with powerful tail thrusts, generating forceful surges that crash against the edge of the ice. The surface begins to tilt, turning what seemed like secure shelter into unstable ground. If the ice platform proves too solid, they may use their combined mass to push upward from below, weakening the structure before sending another coordinated surge across the surface. Once the seal slips from the ice, its chances of escape diminish rapidly within the carefully arranged formation waiting below. Yet the ocean is not only a battleground, it is also a classroom. Mother orcas are often observed capturing and releasing prey, allowing calves to practice timing, contact, and pursuit. This cultural transmission, a shared inheritance of learned behavior, is what enables orcas to maintain their enduring position at the top of the marine world. Gray whales are the travelers of one of the longest migrations on Earth, covering more than 10,000 miles across icy polar waters toward warmer lagoons. Along this demanding route, mothers keep calves close at their side, using their own bodies as a living shield against waves and lurking danger. Yet the greatest challenge is not the ocean itself, but the masterful intelligence of orcas. Rather than rushing in, the pod follows patiently, waiting for narrow waters where the opposing formation is easier to disrupt. With numbers reaching up to 20 individuals, they apply a strict division of roles. One group pressures the tail, another blocks forward movement, and another stays tight along the flank. Amid churning columns of water, an invisible order takes shape, where acoustic signals allow the entire pod to coordinate as a single unit. The encounter reaches its end when endurance and long-range cooperative strategy overcome the target's sheer size. Unlike gray whales, humpback whales stand as formidable giants, reaching lengths of over 50 feet and weights of up to 80,000 pounds. With tail strikes powerful enough to move thousands of pounds of water and songs that carry for miles, they are rarely easy to overpower. Especially during calving season, a mother's protective instinct intensifies to its highest level. Yet when faced with such immense energy, orcas are willing to test the limits of this ocean giant. Rather than engaging head-on, they apply a strategy of endurance, rotating positions, maintaining steady pursuit, and gradually wearing down their opponent's strength. In narrow straits, as the formation tightens, they execute a decisive separation maneuver, isolating the calf from the mother's reach. This is not merely a hunt, but a calculated display of strategy set against one of the ocean's strongest maternal defenses. In the deep ocean, the great white shark reigns like a perfectly engineered hunter. Weighing up to 5,000 pounds, with a bite force around 4,000 pounds per square inch, it can sense electric fields tied to a heartbeat from miles away. Yet even this solitary ruler must stay wary of another force: the orca, the black and white phantoms of the sea. Rather than relying on sudden aggression, orcas apply a strategy built on calculation. They move into formation, using sound to disrupt the shark's highly tuned senses. In a precisely coordinated moment, an orca delivers a decisive move, rolling the opponent onto its back. Almost instantly, the shark enters tonic immobility, a temporary shutdown of movement that can be enough to decide the outcome. The single objective is maximum energy gain, the treasure that turns a ruler into a target. When the hunter turns a ruler into a target, nature's message becomes clear. Ultimate power does not belong to the sharpest jaws, but to collective intelligence that can master instinct through strategy. Dolphins are exceptional ocean athletes, equipped with refined echolocation systems and swimming speeds exceeding 20 miles per hour. They operate within tightly bonded societies, using complex communication to protect one another. Yet the laws of nature always present formidable trials. The orca, the largest and most intelligent member of the dolphin family, turns every encounter into the ultimate test of survival between close relatives. The pursuit does not begin with raw force, but with a carefully calculated pincer strategy. One group maintains steady pressure from behind, sustaining a controlled pace that gradually wears down the limits of the opposing pod. Ahead, another group silently positions itself, forming an invisible barrier that narrows every possible escape route. Amid the confusion, when a weaker individual or a calf becomes separated, the orca delivers a powerful hydrodynamic impact. Weighing up to 12,000 pounds, such force can shut down any chance of escape almost immediately. The encounter concludes with precise coordination, without a single wasted movement. Against a disciplined orca task force, the line between safety and danger can be as thin as a single stroke. It stands as a stark reminder: speed creates opportunity, but persistence and strategic intelligence ultimately determine who commands the ocean. At the Valdez Peninsula, the ocean at times becomes a stage of tension, when the targets are sea lions weighing more than 600 pounds, resting near the water's edge. The advantage lies in the tide. As the water rises, the boundary between sea and shore narrows, allowing an orca to remain concealed beneath breaking waves while waiting for a brief lapse in awareness from a young individual. With a single delayed beat, the orca accelerates toward shore, propelling half its body onto the sand before pivoting back toward the water. It is a high-stakes gamble. A slight miscalculation with the rhythm of the waves can leave even the hunter stranded permanently. If a young sea lion is drawn from the beach, the pod quickly tightens formation, guiding it into deeper water and limiting its path of retreat. This reflects social learning, a skill repeated, refined, and passed on to the next generation. These pursuits also serve as a demanding field classroom, where adults lead the young to understand the texture of sand, the timing of waves, and the margins of error that cannot be repeated. That transfer of knowledge is what allows this rare shoreline hunting technique to endure within each orca family. Across the frozen expanse, the polar bear continues moving forward in quiet determination. Each step carries the challenge of cold winds, hunger, and shifting ice. Its survival depends not only on strength, but also on patience and adaptation. If you enjoyed this journey through the Arctic, you can press like and subscribe to follow the next chapter. Many more secrets of the Arctic are still waiting to be revealed.